Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover, and let's talk football.
We're a couple of football fans who watched football on Saturday and Sunday, and this is our review of the Rams-Eagles game. What are your initial thoughts?
Two blocked kicks in the same quarter against the same team. I actually don't think I've ever seen that before.
Three-part game, Barbin. It's not just offense and defense. Special teams are a big part of the game.
It sure is. And also those were both blocked from interior linemen. Davis and Carter both got a hand on them. And I wonder, okay, so this could be, there's always two sides of the coin. Either the Rams are terrible at blocking, at protecting this, or the Eagles are really, really good at blocking it. I don't know how you can even determine that, but to me, it seems like it's more the Rams really messed that up because no one expects to block a kick. And you get two in the same quarter?
Yeah. Like the number, I mean, that's really one of the things that defined the NFL, like on this past Sunday, was there was a number of block kicks and special teams things that were changed. There's even some of the kickoffs too, right? Remember that was this was that game too, right? Where the Rams kicker was the one, like when they kick off would always be a squib kick and they could never handle it properly. Was that this game?
Well, all the kickers are learning to do that. Yeah. I can't remember. One of the teams, I think, kind of figured it out and they were practicing it. They kind of want like a sideways spin on the ball.
Yeah. And they always dropped it. Like the receiving team never picked it up cleanly.
Yeah. And now I think all of the teams are starting to learn like, oh, there's a way to do this. And they're going to start perfecting it where the ball becomes harder and harder to handle. So I guess now that new weird kickoff thing is happening, they're going to evolve and kickoffs are going to get sloppier too. I mean, there was a fumble on a kick in the Chargers game too, but back to this game, that is a crazy way to end a game.
Well, and it's really disappointing if you're a Rams fan. They were both defenses were really good in this game, but the Rams had control of this one. Like they made Barkley look completely pedestrian. Like the Rams that's one of the lines I have here. The take home from this game is that the Rams defensive line was really, really good, like dominant. Like they made Barkley look completely pedestrian, held him to 46 yards. They sacked Hurts 4 times. Like Rams only had a few more yards overall than the Eagles. Like, but it was really the Rams defense that was dominating this, and they were in a position to win twice, or at least extend the lead with the first kick, and then seal the game with the next one. And so to lose it like that was really rough.
Yeah, the Rams are. Yeah, I have a line here saying Rams D line has to be the best in the NFL.
Yeah,
and they sacked him 4 or 5 times.
4 times.
And one of those, Byron Young just lit him up, and that was the fumble that led to an immediate touchdown. Like when he just blasted Hurts. And you're right. Like Barkley was a non-factor. They completely took him out of the game. So that line, I think, is legit. It was good last year, and it looks even better this year. But I mean, the kicking across the NFL, to your point, it sticks out for how many kicks have been missed, and if you have a kicker, you can have a walk-off kick to win the game, like the San Francisco had a walk-off kick, and that's after getting rid of their 3rd-round selection pick, and Eddie Pinheiro comes in, and ironically the first thing he did was miss an extra point, but then he was the hero in this game, and then same thing with the Browns game, your kicker ends up saving the day in an utterly improbable game, and that kind of doesn't even matter because the Browns are going nowhere this year, but here, like these two teams, either of these teams could easily be in the NFC Championship game, but not with a kicking game like this. The Rams you just can't, not in the NFL. Like you can't have a kicking game this bad.
And they've made it to the 4th quarter where they're up 26-21. The Philly went for it and turnover on downs. They go 7 plays, 32 yards, and to get a field goal, and that's a big deal. That's going to make it 29-21 at that point, right? And instead it gets blocked. Philly comes down, 17-play drive, 91 yards. Like that's what it took to move the ball against this defense, which is significant. So I don't want to take anything away from Philly because that's a solid drive to make it that far, and it's the longest one they've had all game. And so to make it down and to get a touchdown, but then the Rams are still in a position to win it. You know, they still go 10 plays, 44 yards to get a field goal to win it. and instead it gets blocked and returned. It's crazy. It's crazy that that's how they lost.
And these aren't 50-plus yard field goals. It was
No.
a 33-yarder and a 44-yarder. So either he was off today and yesterday and kicking them low for some reason, where interior linemen could get their hand. Whatever it was, it's just really improbable. I get put it this way: there's no way the Eagles coaching staff thinks that that's a way to win games. It's like, oh, we'll just block a couple kicks at the end of the game, and that's how it's going to go. It's obviously you'll take it. You'll always take the win, but you don't. That's not in a game plan to have to rely on a couple of block kicks to win the game. So good for them. They got it done, and maybe they've got something sorted out. I'm sure the Rams special teams coach got an earful after the game for how awful that went. Yeah. And to your point, the Eagles came alive in the end there when they needed to on offense. And did you notice that the fans had that sort of mocking cheer when A.J. Brown finally caught a pass?
Yeah.
It went maybe the third quarter.
That was the other line where it's like the Eagles 2-0 going into this game, right? Hosting the Rams at home, still getting the boo birds out there, right? Booing the team at one point, just they're not happy how things are going. And then we've talked about this on previous shows, how they were really complaining that the passing game should look better. They're still winning, but they should look better. And that was enough to get them upset. And then the fake cheer when A.J. Brown finally gets something, which was hilarious. So like, gosh, it's hard to be a Philly professional athlete, like, because this happens in the Phillies and the 76ers and all that, like they're the same, and are they fickle. So, but yeah, it's just really rough, but listen, hats off for them to pulling out the game, winning at the end. They had they did what they needed to win. They wouldn't have been in the position to block that kick if they hadn't done that 17-play, 90-yard drive to get a touchdown. So that's hats off to them for doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose we have to touch on the tush push controversy, because when you slow there's a view there where you slow it down, and again, one of the guards fired off early, and
they do every time. I feel like that happens all the time now.
Yeah,
when
they're definitely capturing it in slow mo, and you can see it. Now, when you go back to normal motion, it's really hard to pick it up. But then I had this thought: a false start gets called on an O lineman who just flinches, like just one of these, and that's enough. And it has no bearing on the play. The defense doesn't jump offside, nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be that picky, where a guy can just go like this, and that's a false start, then you got to be picky here too.
Yes. Yeah,
like
I can't believe
you can't
they haven't
have
been
it
calling
both ways.
Yeah. No, I can't believe they haven't been calling it, because getting that momentum going forward, that's what this whole thing is about. Like, you're beating the defensive lineman like to that spot, like 2 inches in front of you, and that's what's going to determine if you get that yard or not. So they absolutely have to call it like that, and it would make it less effective, which is probably what everyone wants anyway. But like like you can't. I don't know why they don't call it. Like you're right. It's really hard to tell, like in real time, just because it's a mass of humanity in like within a yard of each other. But it's absolutely a false start, like for sure.
Well, maybe the league's solution is to make it a reviewable play.
Ooh, that's not bad.
So on defense, if you go offside, the play just goes on. On offense, and it's a free play, right, for the offense, which I hate, because it's a disproportionate.
You always do.
It can be disproportionately a benefit. It's either a 5-yard thing or could be a touchdown, right?
Like 60, yeah, exactly, 60-yard completion.
Yeah, so it seems like a disproportionate punishment for going offside, but I don't really know the solution. In this case, if it's true, again, I'm not dumping on them, but I'm trying to come up with the reasonable solution here that will satisfy everybody, including Eagles fans. I don't necessarily want to ban the play, because now you get into like, what other play don't we like? Like, what other play don't we like, right? And they've already adjusted the rules for the sake of the product on TV. So why not? How about this? Why not make a false start reviewable? And so the play goes on, fine. The play goes on. And whatever happens. But then they come back like, oh, it was a false start. And then you just march them back whatever a false start is, 5 yards. Yeah. How is that not a tight solution? That seems very reasonable. And it's, sorry, I'll just one more thing. And it's only necessary on these ones where you can't tell, like on all these other false starts where a guy just kind of like does this. Everyone saw it, right? You don't need to go to review. Now, the only other time this might get I could get away is, how the tackles do that thing where they step back quicker now, and that seems to happen a lot. People might say, well, we're going to review every single one. Good, because all of them are false starts. So, and then it'll force everyone to stop false starting if you can review a false start. So to me, that's the only reasonable solution that doesn't involve banning the play.
Right. Yeah, and it's a little weird to say if you're in this specific formation, we can review it, but if you're not, then we can't. Like, so that's a little. But I mean,
it'd have to be all of them.
Yeah, it would. But we're going to slow it down to molasses if we do that. We can't review there's any play that works. They'd want to review it. I don't know, but anyway, you're right that's like because that if they can't for the tush push specifically, if they can't see it in real time, like acknowledging that it's a false start, then the review would be the only way to do it.
Other solution: allow a coach to challenge the false start.
And you're like,
because they're not going to be doing
game or something like that.
They're not going to be doing that on every single when a tackle might get his foot back a little early. They're not going to because again they're risking a timeout every single time. But if they quickly review it on the board, because you know how they give it a look first, then they throw the flag.
Yeah,
you would do it here. Maybe that's the solution. The point is make it reviewable at least. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Getting back to the game though, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm pretty excited about the running game because the Stafford is, and the team, any team is more effective when you can balance out passing and running. And Williams looked good. And the Eagles had a good defense. Like they held the Rams in check for the most part, but because the Rams are just a little bit more effective at running the ball, I think that made the passing game just a little more effective, which then explained the slightly more yards they had in the game. But that's one of the best I've seen Williams look. That was a good running game running attacks they had against the Eagles. So I'm happy about that if you're a Rams fan.
And they're balancing him out with Corum, so they're not going to wear him out. It's kind of like how the Niners do McCaffrey. And they doubled them up. They had 160 yards rushing, and the only reason the Eagles even had any yards rushing was because Hurts put up 40 yards too, which you kind of expect out of Hurts. But shutting Barkley down was
huge.
That was huge. Like
2.6 yards a carry. Like that's crazy. No, and that was you were right. The Rams defensive line is like the story of the game because that was the 4 sacks against Hurts and holding Barkley to that much running yards was really the difference and really put the Rams in a position to win the game twice. It just didn't happen.
They did what you're supposed to do to beat a team as good as the Eagles.
At home, on the road, for the Rams.
On the road. Yeah, you're not running away with this game. It's not going to be. No. But the thing is, they had a chance to make it a 2-score game.
Yes.
And this is coming back from Stafford threw a pick. Zach Bond, how good is he?
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, my God, that guy's good.
That's the best. Like they said in the commentary, that's the best. The signing, one of the free agent signings they've had because he's had not only a career resurgence, but is a real impact player that didn't cost an arm and a leg.
Is he top 2 or 3 linebackers? And I put him right up there with Fred Warner now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And they moved him to that position from wherever. How could you? I don't get. I mean, we talked about this before, but it bears repeating. I just don't get how previous teams Bond was on. I don't know if it was just the Saints. How did they not know? How can he be this good at middle linebacker? And they just didn't know. That's what we. I guess this is part of a fit. Like if you're, whether the defense is a 3-4, 4-3, whatever the scheme is, if you got the right guy on the right, good for him for finally landing somewhere that obviously maximizes him because his ceiling is as high as it can get.
The other note I have here just about the Rams is that I don't know if Stafford's going to make it the whole season. He was because they talked about the back injury before, and there was a couple times where he was moving a little gingerly. So I'm a little worried what if he's going to make it the whole season. But when he's healthy, he was really putting it together. So
yep. So we gave the Rams a lot of talk here because they did look like the better team today, and they, by all rights, they probably should have won this game if it weren't for 2 block kicks. But the kicks were blocked, and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they're probably going to block a bunch more. I feel like they must have had multiple block kicks already in their careers. I don't think this is the first time either of them have blocked a kick.
No.
But the Eagles, I'm assuming the the commentary will just continue about the Eagles passing game not being good enough, and how can you wait till the third quarter to get the ball to AJ Brown? Like look at what they did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They were lighting them up with Smith and Brown, and here we are. How are we just? We're the very next season, and we're back to this anemic looking offense. Like how do we get here?
Well, and again, I watched the game. And it did feel like that. But this is a good example. We've talked about this often about the box score being misleading or not, because Jalen Hurts was 21 for 32 for 226 yards, 3 TDs, and no interceptions. So, like, it's a good rating. Like, that is a good against that. The Rams defense, we just said, was lights out. Like that's a good stat line. And AJ Brown had 6 receptions for 109 yards and a TD. Like, that's a good wide receiver day. And Devontae Smith had 8 receptions for 60 yards and a TD. Like, that's a good receiver day, right? So, but it's sort of, I think most of it came on that last 17 play drive, like a lot of, and it's yeah, it does. I don't understand why they weren't doing that more, but I mean, it's hindsight's always 20/20. Like if I was playing the Rams too, my game plan would be like to establish Barkley early and then try to set up more passing later, which sort of is what happened, even though Barkley never really got off. But like if you didn't run him, if he didn't have 18 carries either, you'd be wondering like, why aren't they using him more? Like that, people complain about that too.
Well, one thing we can say is some defenses are good enough to shut him down, and this is one of them.
Yeah, there's not many, and that this is one of them, right?
No,
so yeah,
I mean it's the Rams, the Chiefs. The list is very, very short of teams that can limit Barkley, and then I mean beyond that, they made him one-dimensional. And you're right, Hurts. Okay, fine. We understand by the third quarter Barkley's ineffective. Whatever they're doing, they've chosen to take him away, and they can take him away. Obviously, every team tried to take him away.
Yeah.
And this is actually a good example. The Super Bowl, the Chiefs took him away.
Yep.
And so fine, we'll just go through the air instead. Mm-hmm. And they did it here too, so they can do it.
Yeah.
And I guess all I was saying is the fans aren't going to like. Again, it's the aesthetics. They want it. Yeah. They want Barkley to go for about 150, 160, and then they want about 270 through the air.
Yep.
Either AJ or Smith got to go for roughly 100. Both get it. They want this. They want the Super Bowl every game. They want that performance, but plus Barkley, Barkley going for 100.
Yeah.
Even though I think he had more than 100 yards from scrimmage because he caught some.
No, it's only 46 yards rushing and 9 yards.
No. I mean in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They held him to 56 yards rushing, but I'm pretty sure he had at least enough to get over 100 from scrimmage,
right? Because
they used him out of the backfield for sure in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think he might have had 120 or 130 from scrimmage. But again, it's the aesthetic. I've noticed fans don't want to leave anything to the thought that, if this lucky thing didn't happen, we wouldn't have won. They want the dominant performance. There's nowhere you can look where you could say, if this lucky thing didn't happen, we would have lost that game. And the Super Bowl was kind of that game. It's like everything worked.
Yeah. No, true. No, and you're right about the. It's just I can't. Again, this happened last year too. Like the Eagles were 2-0 going into this game against a good team, and they were being booed. They're going to win. They're undefeated, 3-0. And their people booed them in that last game. It's crazy.
I can't believe what it must be like to play in Philly. Listening to how, I mean, because the Eagles fans were sensing the game was getting away.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because they came out and they came out strong, and the Rams kept fighting back, and it's like, oh no, the Rams are pretty damn good. Oh, they've neutralized Barkley. AJ Brown hasn't caught a pass. We're in the third quarter. What's going on here? What is going on here? Aren't we the Super Bowl champs? And we already took these guys out in the playoffs. But every Eagles fan has to remember how close that game was. Mm-hmm. So these teams are both right there. I expect them to both be there at the end of the season if Stafford can stay healthy.
Yeah, and you're right about that's a good point about it's the third quarter and like, wait a minute, Brown hasn't caught anything, and wait a minute, Barkley hasn't got it. Like what I will say about the Philly fans, of all Philadelphia sports fans, they're very knowledgeable. Like they're very knowledgeable, like what's going on, who's contributed, who hasn't. Like they're very aware, and so which is gives them the fuel for the booing.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's a good place to leave this one.
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, it was the Rams had it. Eagles, got away with it. Both defenses look good. Just 3-part game. You don't want to ignore special teams.
All right. So, well, if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out our channel. We know it's small. We just started it last year. So if you do like what we got going on, we'd super appreciate if you could like it and even subscribe. That would really help us grow the channel. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barber, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.